everybody. It is Alex from Heavy New York calling from Zoom again, and this time we are here with Ukraine's Space of Variations. Thank you all so much for being here. It's great to have you here.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, anytime, anytime. I've been very excited to speak with you. I really am a big fan of this brand new album. It's pronounced Imago. Am I correct?
Kind
Yeah, yeah.
of.
Imago.
Imago is it depends.
Imago. Like I think it's Imago.
Imago. Okay.
Something like this.
But this is a fantastic album. Being that we got five singles so far from this album, is this a good representation of what the whole album will sound like, or is there a lot more to be heard and a lot more new tricks?
Dude, actually, the main thing that the songs on this album sometimes they're so different with different atmosphere, with different themes, with different meanings, with different vibes. So I guess this tracks in some way they reflect the album, but not the whole specter of the album. Definitely,
There are many surprises in album.
actually,
Yeah.
yes.
That's all.
Even for us, it was surprises.
Awesome. I remember first hearing the EP that you put out in 2020, the Five X's as I call it. And a lot of people did hear that. Was that meant to be kind of like a preview or like the first like a good taste of what would come on the next Space of Variations album?
Mm,
In
maybe
some way, yeah.
for example, Razor Blade track is I think the most similar track to new album because of this synth stuff and like a whole vibe of the track. But maybe uh, each release of each band is like a mm, uh,
Kind of
kind
preview
of
and
preview of next release.
Yes. So it's like продолжение.
Continue,
It's continue. Yeah, new release continue and opened more the
The idea,
not the
whole
idea.
idea.
This
Yeah.
I don't know how to say it.
No, you,
But in like we had this idea of combining some kind of rave electronic with heavy stuff, and this idea was more open in our
New album.
new album Imago.
mhm. And I wanted to ask about your inspirations because when I listen to Space of Variations, I do see the synth and like a lot of industrial stuff in it. Like I've seen elements of like Ministry in your sound, but then I hear like a lot of metalcore in your sound too. If you don't mind me asking, like is there like a specific inspiration that Space of Variations has that you all like, or being that there's many different sounds, everybody in the band has like their own inspiration?
To be honest, I don't use any like references. Mm, like mm, this is like natural stuff. Um, I just trying to write music that I will like. For example, for me as a songwriter, I write music, and when I feel that I like it, I think it's okay, and we work on these sketches together, and everyone puts some ideas in a track. But I don't know what the inspiration. I think this inspiration
Yep.
from band. I think it's inspiration from vibe. We try to make huge sound, big riffs, like something global and
Massive.
and massive. Yes, and this what I can say about inspiration. I think.
Yeah, it's a kind of we don't have some kind of references for our stuff. We just have this vibe inside ourselves, and
Yeah.
we want to
That's
express
what
it
I'm talking
somehow
about.
in a musical way. But there was no some kind of references
Hmm.
uh, exact exactly.
And
say.
that brought me into the next question because the lyrics that are incorporated on here, it does is there like a specific concept that Imago revolves around, that you a message or a specific meaning that you want the viewers to interpret, or is your music very much open to interpretation like it is open to different styles?
Actually, it's open to interpretations. Definitely, it always worked like this. People read the line and they see this line from different their own perspectives. And I like this idea that different people can see something in some different ways and create their own worlds in their heads. So, but there is sometimes there is completely straight messages from me, but I don't know how the people understand them like I understand. I don't know it, but we just the lyrics just reflect our own vision of the world, and it's cool if someone felt it like we, someone that it's cool, and then well, and the connect is is happening then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you don't mind me asking, I'm sure a lot of interviewers are going to be asking this, but the recent turn of events that have been happening in Ukraine, was this at all an influence for Space of Variations? Not even just the present, because I know like Ginger, they wrote songs going back to 2014 with Crimea. It almost seems like that there's always been like a timeline of Ukrainian metal bands representing what's happening in their country. Is this at all a source of inspiration for your music, or has music meant to be an escapism from the reality that we live in?
In some way, of course, we live through this uh, through these situations since 2014, and we feel this background in our thoughts, and of course, in some way, we
It reflects in the music.
it reflects in our lyrics, in our music, but I don't know, this war, a big war that started in winter, this winter, um, this war started after we finished the album. So, um, exact in this album, Imago, I think it's more like metaphorical stuff from whole life, not about exact this situation, about this war.
But I can say a little bit different thing, because I wrote some part of the lyrics before this war, but there was some lines that 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 was completely like about this situation,
but the situation happened after
the situation
after
happens. Even the Flame song, as you remember, there was like from 2014 in some parts of our songs there was some lines about war, about all this situation, and even in the track with Alona Alon. Actually, there was the whole track actually about this eternal conflicts between people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it reflects definitely, but this situation will reflect more in the second releases, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
In next
releases. Yeah.
Because I know that Ukraine has a fantastic metal scene, not even just with Ginger, but with you guys and White Ward, a fantastic black metal band, and Flesh Gone and Hell On, and so many other great bands. Is like has before in better times, has there always been a thriving Ukrainian metal scene? I've talked with Ginger before, and I heard it's almost like Sweden. It's been like Sweden with how many great metal bands have come from there.
Yeah, actually, we had this big alternative metal boom back in previous years, and it was huge. A lot of bands still still playing from that times as we actually. But right now, it's very hard for Ukrainian metal bands to work, to tour, and the situation like it's not good for musicians, for art, and a lot of restrictions, and even when the war begins, we don't know like what will be next. There will be time for music, or this is the end. Because in especially in first weeks, no one knows what's happened next, and no one thinks about touring, like recording something. It was like something from not any time.
Yeah.
Yeah, but now our guys, our military, they're working hard to to people live their life, to help people from Ukraine live their life and doing their stuff, because our guys, they're, I guess, yeah, it's too hard for me. Sorry
No.
to explain sometimes, but our military is working for our normal life.
And it is truly an inspiration for everybody here in America. We've been telling our children the stories of the brave men and women in Ukraine who are fighting against, and we stand with you throughout this whole thing. And
It means a lot.
yeah, we're very thankful for all you've done with us, giving us so much art in the world, and we're very thankful for uh, giving us inspiration to fight for another day as well. And
We're very thankful for your support, because actually, without this support, we could not resist. We could not fight without this support. So thank you so much, and it's so important that we are discussing these things right now. That's why it's one of the reasons why we are here. We need to speak about it. We need to tell the truth about Ukraine, and thank you.
yeah, well, and I want to continue talking about it, but the most important thing is there anything we can do in America to help the people of Ukraine from where we are?
There is a lot of ways actually. You need like you can donate to our some organizations. Yeah. If people want, they will find a way to help. But like I don't know exactly. Like maybe
the main thing I think is not to forget about the situation, because we understand that USA and Ukraine is a different of the planet, yes, and it's easy to forget and think that okay, something happened there and it's not a problem. It's like regular stuff, but it's not regular stuff. And the important thing is not to forget about it. This war is not over, and keep talking about it and keep trying to like understand that it's not normal situation.
It's very understandable.
We need to finish it somehow. This
we need to finish it together.
Yeah, progressive modern world must stop it.
Absolutely.
Somehow.
Just do what you can with what you have.
Yeah.
That's the main message.
Of course, of course. And if you don't mind me asking, and obviously we can't speak for every band from Ukraine, but even before this war and even before 2014 in Crimea, there's been a lot of history in Ukraine from the oppression of the USSR, from Khrushchev and Gorbachev and everybody else. Would you say, because in America, a lot of bands write about their political turmoil in and around the country from, our previous leaders and whatnot, has like this always been a subject matter within the Ukrainian metal scene? Has like there always been something to rebel against, and that's why heavy metal has been such a important genre there?
Yeah, there's always heavy music is always, I guess, a protest.
Yes.
So, but I don't know. It was, yeah, I don't know if it was the main theme like of the bands of metal genre, but now it would be definitely the main theme of all our bands. One of, definitely, because it's the harshest period in our lives.
Yeah, definitely. And when you play your music live, and when we hear this music, is it? I already mentioned, we already talked about if recent events influence the music, but when you write music, is this always from a very personal place that you approach it, or is there a lot of observation around what's happening in your life that influences the music? Does it come internally or externally?
Yeah, yeah. I guess it's a combination of what's happening. You reflect it through your some inner vision and
Your own experience.
try to make art. Yeah, with all this experience that you take yourself. Yeah. So it's always,
Yeah.
it's always something very deep, because art, true art, is always from the bottom of you. But it's always depends how you reflect it and how you feel it.
Mm-hmm. And I also want to ask, like, when you are writing this music, whether it's from your new album or your previous album, Mind Darknet, or anything else, is there like a formula or a sound that you try to stick with, or do you always like to experiment with your style and like always kind of bring in new tricks and twists?
Uh,
Looks like we're trying to make some experiments, but we believe that it's not like 100% experiments. Of course, we work in some genre like heavy music, but yes, of course, we're trying to put some new stuff, new sounds, new approaches in our music, and trying to transform our point of view, our like style. I don't know, but
I think we always think about this part of composition in the song. Composing the song, and we but we always try to push some boundaries and to expand who we are as musicians, as people, as artists. And without experiments, it would be too boring for us, I guess.
Of course. Um, and oh, so okay, internet cut out for a second. And when it comes to like writing, when you write about like difficult times, like especially now, does that make the songwriting process like a little bit difficult, or like as I like to say, deteriorating in a way, if you have to use darkness as a means of inspiration, or because a lot of people say it's very cathartic and it helps, it's a release, but I'd imagine confronting demons and darkness like what's happening now is also kind of traumatic as well in the artistic process, right?
Actually, for for us it was a question, and I asked my friends musicians, guys, you wrote something in this period of time where when the war started, and some part of them wrote something, but the bigger part, they was like just mm,
paused.
exactly, they was frozen, because and the same with me. I was frozen. There was no inspiration at all. It was not something that you really can fast reflect, and in your art, it was very hard. Even now, it's super hard um, to understand what's happening, because we live now in very surreal world, and for art is hard.
Yeah, and it feels like you know like something from outside this terrible situation like blocked your art source, your inner art source blocked it, and you try to express yourself. As for example, as me, I tried to write some new tracks. I tried to make some sketches, but um, it's much harder than before war, and I understand why, because my inner my chakras works like with their work, work not not okay, yes, not as usual, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of a lot of people have said like we live in dark times. This is a great time for artistic expression, and it could be true in some aspects. But I think during, especially in Ukraine, I think that there's a lot more important things to worry about as well. And I
Yeah.
think in the end, it's not the darkness itself that's inspiration. It's how we overcome it and how we push forward. That is the main source of inspiration.
Yeah, but in some way, if we look at art as a tool to express reality, so one day maybe we will use this tool too, and we'll express this experience in our way, how we used to do it, and we'll talk about it in with metaphors, with riffs, with energy that we can express through music.
I think we definitely will, because we need to throw it somehow from ourselves, because it's too hard even for us to keep this in your brain. Just you need to throw it. You need to write something, because it's always like it's always like your
Therapy.
yeah. So it's a very therapeutic experience to make art. You release yourself in some way. So we'll definitely use this experience.
Definitely.
But
And finally, the final thing I wanted to ask you is there anything we kind of touched upon it earlier, but is there anything you want to tell us in America or all over the world, just to make us aware or of what's happening in Ukraine, or is there anything you would like to promote to help us? We stand with you in this fight, and but any amount of information of how we could support is always helpful.
actually, I want to say a few things. Like, Russia is a terrorist state. It's 100%. So the second, their propaganda told to their people that they are fighting with you, that they're fighting with you in our country. So we stand together in this war, and we should be strong together in this war, because, as I said earlier, they told their people that this is a war with you, with the Westerns,
Yeah.
with the United States.
Yeah, it's terrible. And just like Khrushchev, just like Stalin, just like Lenin, just like Gorbachev, who just recently died, Putin will too go down in history as another fallen Russian czar, just like all of them. Just like Ivan the Terrible, just like Catherine the Great, they will he will fall just like all of them. If history, if there's anything we learned, history repeats itself, and just like this, history will be repeating itself of Russia being the loser in war.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah, we believe in it.
we'll
Yeah.
kick their
Yeah.
asses.
Yep. And again, we stand with you, and any way we could help. And most importantly, are all your bandmates and are your family and friends are okay as well? At the,
In some way, it's hard for us. Now we're in some like more calm place,
Safe
in more safe place. But our friends, our families, still in Ukraine, and it's hard. So I don't know. They're not in safe.
Yeah, as I used to say, physically they are okay and we are okay, but mentally and in spiritual way it's hard. So this it that's it. Yes.
yeah. Well, again, we support you, and to Vladimir Putin, Just tell your soldiers to carry sunflower seeds on them, so sunflowers will grow when you die, when they all die on their land. Thank you so much for your. Thank you so much for giving us music, and we stand with you. And we're sending you all the best. We welcome you here to North America in the future. Everybody, Space of Variations. Be sure to pick out Imago, and we will see you next time on Heavy New York. And Vladimir Putin, your day is coming.
Ah, fuck you.